Okay, here we go. Let's get into the first lick. So we're playing over a Chicago blues style backing track, 12-bar blues in B flat. So that means our chords are going to be B flat or B flat 7, E flat 7 or E flat 9, an E flat dominant chord, and then an F. So when we're jamming over this backing track, those are the three chords that we know how to, that we have to know how to play over. So I'm going to go through three licks here. This is the first of those licks. And for each of these, I'm going to talk about how the lick works over the chord that's being played in the background. And so hopefully you pull a lot of little concepts out of this. So this first lick is really basic, and I've probably covered licks like this in previous lessons before. You've heard it a lot because it works really well. It's a really common style of lick, and it just sounds good at the head of a 12-bar blues. It works really well over that one chord, in this case our B flat 7. And I'll go through it and I'll explain why. So the lick is this. Now, the reason why this works so well is because it has a lot of the key notes from the B flat 7 chord. So starting off right here, this note right here, that is the 5th of B flat. It's the F. And a good way to visualize this is just to play the chord. Right? We see a B flat 7 chord right there. If the note is in the chord, it's going to sound good when you play that note on its own, right? It's kind of the basic idea here. So in order, we're starting on the 5th. We go up to the 5th fret. This is actually the 6th of B, but we get up to the root. So we pass that major 6th on the way up to the 8th fret on the 4th string, which is B flat. It's the root note. And then this next few notes here is really the essence of this lick. And really, you could just play these three notes and you would get the feeling of it. So the next notes are this. You can either slide it up, so I'm sliding up 6 to 7, or hammer it. Either way works. Now the reason why this part of the lick works so well is because we're hitting on the major 3rd of B flat 7, right? We're hitting that D note, and then we're landing on the root. The 3rd and the root, those are really the strongest notes in the chord. So if you ever are wondering what to play over a chord, the 3rd and the root are a good place to go. Those will always sound really good over the underlying chord. And like I said, to me, that's the essence of this lick right here. So you could really simplify this, I think, by instead of doing this, you could just go like this. Basic, same vibe of the lick, just with less notes. I think that's really the heart of the lick. So that's it. Hopefully you got some ideas out of that explanation. I'll play through it one more time. Okay, now on to our second lick. We are now playing over an E flat 7 chord in this lick. E dominant, so E9 or E7. Anyway, you're playing that chord. So we want to hit notes that go with that chord. So the big notes that you want to hit on here, that you can hit on, are the root, obviously, right? The root always works well, and that's what I'm doing here. So the root chord is E flat, our 4 chord in this 12-bar blues, and this lick emphasizes that E flat note up here on the 8th fret on the 3rd string. So I'll play through it one time and kind of explain it. You're really only playing a couple notes there. We're playing the root, really, and then we're playing the dominant 7, right? The flat 7. That's another good note to play over the E flat 7 chord, right? The D flat, and then we finally land on the 5th of E flat on this B flat here. There's a little passing tone there where I slide up. You know, I hit this note a half step above the root. But that's basically it. And the point that is worth making here is that anytime you're playing over this 4 chord, using these just basic notes will work. The root, the flat 7. With that, anytime you hear that E flat chord come up when you're jamming over this, you can just do any lick that emphasizes that E flat note is going to sound good. So that's kind of the point of this lick here. It doesn't need to be complicated. It needs to be something that goes with the chord that you're playing underneath, and that's a good note to land on. So if you're playing over this track and you really have no idea what to play, it's really not that hard. You can really just take a few licks. You can take one lick that works really well over the B flat, another lick that works well over the E flat, and another lick that works well over the F, and that's all you need. You can play through the whole song. Those are the only 3 chords. You really only need 3 licks, and you can make little variations on those 3 licks. So this isn't really hard to do to get through an improvisation over a 12-bar blues. So far we got this lick, and then over the B flat, and then over the E flat we got something that emphasizes that E flat note. Just those 2 things, I can play through most of the 12-bar blues. I don't need to have 50 different licks. Every time the B flat comes up, I can go. Every time the E flat comes up, I can do something with that. And here comes the B flat again. Right? So you don't need to know a lot of licks is the point to be able to play through the 12-bar blues. So I hope that's what you get out of this. So that's it. Let's play this lick that goes over the E flat 7 chord one more time. Really simple. Okay, so we got another lick here that is going from the E flat back to the B flat, going from the E flat back to the B flat. So this will give you an idea of how to transition between the chords, right? So far the first 2 licks we just did playing over the static chord, showing you notes that work over that 1 chord. This is demonstrating a little bit how to go back from the E back to the B flat. So all the same rules apply. We're trying to hit notes that sound good over the chord. So the only thing we need to be aware of here is that we're hitting a right note when we get back to the B flat 7. That's really only idea. So this kind of combines a couple ideas from the first two licks. So I'll play through it one time and then I'll explain it. So. So something like that. Now notice the first three notes here. That goes really well with the E flat. If you play this shape of the chord here, the E flat dominant 7 chord, you'll notice that this note is in the chord, and that's the major third. And as we said before, major third and the root are really the strongest notes to play when you're playing over a chord. So I'm going from the second to the major third and then landing on the 5th. Well, that works really well over this. So there we have it. The next part of the lick, we're transitioning to the B flat 7 chord, and that part goes like this. So note that we don't land on the B flat 7 until the last note. So that's over the E flat, and then we land on this note when we hit the B flat 7 chord. So we'll notice about the first part of this lick, this also works really well over the E flat 7 chord because we have the flat 7 right here. That's the D flat. And then we play a lot of the same notes we played in the first part of this lick. So we're playing the 5th and then the 3rd, right? We're doing a little hammer up, but 5th and the 3rd are the primary notes of that little lick. So we got the flat 7th, 5th, and 3rd. That's going to work great over the chord underneath it. And then the last note we hit, notice that is the B flat. And that's where we land on the B flat chord. So this little thing, it's a nice, very simple transition between the E flat and the B flat. We're hitting a lot of notes in the E flat, and the last note we land on, where that B flat chord comes in, we're hitting the B flat note. So perfect. Now to top it off, we are emphasizing that B flat 7 chord a little more. So after we do this, we do this. If you'll notice that that last part of it is what we played in lick 1, right? That's the major third of B flat, the D note, right? So that's going to work really well over that B flat 7 chord. So hopefully you got a lot of good ideas out of that. I'll play through it one more time. Again, we're transitioning from the E flat back to the B flat, and this is a good way to do that. So here we go.